Hi everyone, Steve here from My Crypto World, and what a crazy week it has been. Today we're going to have a look at the market, where things are at, what I'm doing with my portfolio, whether I'm buying or selling at the moment, and what I think of where the market cycle is headed right after this. Okay, so what we're looking at now is the total market cap, and for those that are in the investment group, you would have received a copy of this chart earlier this week showing the current support and resistance lines. What I've done at the moment is I've just removed the last couple of cycles so you can actually see the lows that have happened in the market over the last few weeks and months. So really what we're looking at here is, as I've pinpointed by this huge green arrow, is that this is back then that was the all-time high of the market. Now traditionally all-time highs provide a very good support line for the lows that are going to happen in the future, and what we've experienced this week is a low that pretty much bounced straight off the all-time high previously. Now that's an incredibly strong sign, and one that I'm favorable for. So for me, I sort of like my fear of the market dropping has been pretty much eliminated. Now, based just on stats, and again, remember this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial planner. I've spent probably 20 plus years looking at market cycles, trying to understand the markets around the world. I just know based on stats that we have now a 90% chance that the market will continue to go up. And about a 10% chance that the market will break below that resistance line. So it's minimal, but it is possible. The other option that could happen is sometimes when we've experienced a low or a drop in the marketplace, you may find that the market might go sideways for a number of months. And in my last video, I previously spoke about the fact that if you went back to September 2020 and you were in the market back then, the market pretty much went sideways till around about October or November before it started to rise. So we might see something like that happen again, where the market equilibrium is just really trying to sort itself out from between the buyers and the sellers in the marketplace. Again, it's not a very bullish sign. It's not a very bearish sign. It's just really this balance that happens. Nobody knows what to do or where the market's going. It's very frustrating. It's frustrating for people who have long positions. It's also frustrating for people who have short positions who are trying to make money when the market drops. There's just really essentially no movement in the market, and it's very hard to make money. It's very hard to lose money also, which is a good thing, when markets are moving sideways. It's almost like a way of a market catching its own breath before it heads off into its new direction. That's probably the best analogy I can give you for that. Now, if you had gone, those of you that have seen my previous videos, you would have known that when we were in this cycle way back, probably around about here, I think on the 30th of May, around about then I posted a video saying that the market has a 31-day cycle. Just to make it easier for my brain to calculate, we're just going to pretend it's a 30-day cycle instead of a 31-day. And there are cycles within cycles within cycles. So the 30-day cycle, you could say, has 3 10-day cycles. And in those 10-day cycles, if you went it down to a minute chart or a 5-minute chart, there would be cycles within those 10-day periods as well. But essentially, if you want a market to look to look bullish, so in other words, to have strength to continue to rise, you want to see the new high or the high of the cycle happen in the last third of that cycle. So really anywhere from 20 days onwards, you want to see that high happen. Now, when you look back on the chart that's in front of your screen at the moment, let me just get rid of these pop-ups. You'll see that most of the time, the high of that cycle happened in the last third, so the last 10 days of that cycle. Sometimes it happens a little bit before, as in this one here. Probably happened around about the midpoint, maybe just slightly after the midpoint. This one here is definitely after the third. Here is about a midpoint after the third, in the last third of that cycle. And what happened here is that I said back then that this market had hit its peak in the first third of the cycle, which is a very bearish sign. Now, looking at the market now, I can say that it's probably not as bearish as what I thought. The market essentially moved sideways. And I did mention back then when I did my post that it was going to be typical for the market to find or test the previous low, which were these two red bars here. Now, there are two important things that happened here. Number one, there's three. Number one, it did test that low. Number two, it reached that low and broke below it, but it didn't close below it, which is really, really important. If it had closed below this resistance line, it would be a very different story that I'll be telling you now, and I would say that we're in a very bearish market. And the third thing that happened was that it bounced straight off that resistance line and since then has gone upward. So for this next cycle, which will end on around about the 23rd of July, I want to see the market move in a direction and find a new high. It doesn't have to be the all-time high. It just needs to be the high for this cycle in the last third. So really from day 20 through to day 31, we want to see the market peak and then drop down a little bit before it catches its breath and then moves up again. And if we can do that, then we're in really strong territory for us. Now, what this means for the general mums and dads is that if you haven't been able to hold on to this or you've become too nervous, a lot of people through the market, when the market does something like this, if you've never experienced it before, a lot of people will pull their funds out of the market and they'll walk away. And this is what a lot of the buying and selling happens through this period. What we're going to see now, in my belief, and again, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial planner, is that we're going to see a lot of good money come back into the market, a lot of strong money, maybe a lot of whales, so a lot of institutions that will start buying up stocks now or cryptocurrency now for their portfolios. So it's a very positive sign, but again, we want to make sure that that's going to be happening, and we want to make sure that this new high, wherever it might lead, or this new peak, I'll say, it's not a new high, a new peak in this 31-day cycle, is going to happen in the last third of the cycle. So after day 20, any time after that is fine. It just shows more strength. It doesn't mean that if it happens prior to that it's going to be worse, but it has a higher probability of being positive if it happens in the final third cycle of that cycle, so in the 10 days. So I had to move and delete a couple of cycles off this chart because the problem when you overlay graphics on some of these is it becomes very difficult to see where the bars ended and started. I think that one started there, and I had to delete this middle one because when you overlap them, you actually can't see the low of the chart. So that's where we're at the moment with the market. So what am I doing right now? Which is the number one question I've been emailed about and messaged about consistently over the last week. I'm actually buying more now. For me, this is a very strong sign that the market low has happened and that we're going to get fresh money coming into the market. Again, I say this with the preface, I've been wrong in the past. I could be wrong now, but based on what I know about the market and the study that I've done, I feel that it's probably around about a 90% accuracy that the market will continue to rise. So right now I'm buying more stock or more crypto, buying things like T-Fuel, Theta, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, Digibyte, which I think is probably the most undervalued stock crypto on the market at the moment. There are a number of ones I'm buying. Zilliqa is also another one that I'm looking at buying. Probably my top holdings always have been Theta and T-Fuel for quite a while now. But if you've got enough of those and you don't want any more, there are certainly a number of different great cryptos out there with good projects that are backed by those coins. So that's really, really important. Being that Theta is my number one holding, let's go and have a look at the total market cap for Theta. Okay guys, just going to CoinMarketCap, you can see here that Theta is number 17 in the marketplace. It is down by 1.24% for the last 24 hours, but down 28.97 for the last 7 days. T-Fuel is down to is currently at number 38. That's down 2.35% for the last 24 hours and down a total of 26.12% for the entire last 7 days. So not too much movement there from those two tokens. If we go across to thetatoken.org, you can see here that we've got 5 days and 10 hours until mainnet 3.0 launches. I've spoken about it in a previous video, what that means to the Theta network. And if you want to join into that and you want to become a Theta node, pre-elite edge node, you can do that. And by clicking on join today, you're enabling the Theta network to use your unused CPU power and your unused bandwidth to form part of the global Theta network, which you'll get rewarded for with T-Fuel. To do that, you do have to set up a wallet, so you simply go up to wallet and follow the prompts, and then you would transfer any Theta tokens you have or any T-Fuel tokens you have into that wallet and stake those against the Guardian node, and off that goes. Now this is a Theta token chart, and you can see it pretty much looks like the total market cap. It follows it very closely. We've had a low. It tested its previous low, but it didn't hit that low, and it's moved up from there. And again, I think this is quite a bullish signal that it's done that. And here's our T-Fuel chart. Again, probably around about a 30 to 32 day cycle that's gone on, and it has recently come back down low. But again, it's on its way back up again, and I feel that that's been quite strong. I think T-Fuel is becoming quite a hot topic for people to talk about and to invest in, simply because of the rewards you can get from staking T-Fuel. And again, go back to my previous video if you need information on that, or just simply Google it. There are plenty of great YouTubers out there that give you really good detail and insight into how to stake your T-Fuel. But I think the project is incredibly good. This week, Theta launched their 4th patent in the US, and that's very, very exciting as well for investors in this great project. So let's have a quick look at Zilliqa, which is another a crypto that I hold, and have a look at that chart. So this is a little bit different. It's broken away from the overall market movements. Although it has moved up over the last 3 days, it certainly looks like it's fallen further than what other cryptos have done. Now, what's interesting about this one is we put a resistance line in against the low. And I'll just make that a bit larger so we can all see it. There we go. Now that's done. You can see here that it bounced off a support line that happened way back in 2021. Where are we at here? December 20 all the way through to February 2021. And it's bounced off that quite nicely and has moved up strongly since then. Now what's really interesting about this resistance line is if we expand the chart up and we have a look at where the graph was way back then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate or delete this horizontal line I've put on, but just in your mind, remember where I've left it, and we'll just take it away. And what we can see is that at no point in time did any of these bars close below that resistance line. Again, I remove the resistance line because it's very difficult to see where closes are. You just want to make sure that there are no closes below that. It would be a completely different story if the market closed below it, but it didn't throughout the entire period. Once that high was broken, that resistance line was broken, it hasn't gone back there since. And it's very interesting that we see the market of Zilliqa now fall away and pretty much land in that resistance zone. So to me, that's a very bullish sign for Zilliqa, and I would certainly be looking at buying more of those that cryptocurrency as soon as I possibly could. At what are we at the moment? 7 cents for Zilliqa is an incredibly. It's just amazing that it's that low. So I wish I had more money, to be honest with you, to throw at it. And again, not financial advice. It's just what I think the market is going to do. I can't see this going any further lower, and I think it's got great potential based on the project that it's developed and the partnerships that are inbound with Zilliqa at the moment. So really, really positive. Anyway, that is my market update for this week. I know it's been very difficult for many people to see the market bloodbath happen, which is what the media is calling it. I don't see it that way. I actually see that this is a really good way of getting out and getting rid of money that probably didn't deserve to be there. It's exhausting the supplies of the sellers in the market, and we've found some very, very strong resistance in most of the coins that we've spoken about today, and there's a heap of others as well that we could talk about for hours, but we don't have hours to talk, so it is what it is. Anyway, good luck with your trading. If you're in my private investment group, please message me or email me to if you've got any queries. For those of you watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. You don't have to subscribe, but if you can at least like the video, I'd really appreciate it. It really just tells Google and YouTube that this video is valid and has got good content that's relative to today's market. All the best, guys. See you in the next video in about 7 days.